Young Justice is back with their own version of Turkey Day. And we get to see what Superboy and everyone else in Genomorphland is and is not thankful for. The appropriate entitled uh, um, ad- episode Agendas is broken up into two stories of the Justice League voting on who, if anyone, should join them, starting with the first voiceover of Wonder Woman. And I've always thought of induction to the Justice League like voting into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Because in voting into the Baseball Hall of Fame, there isn't a certain amount of numbers uh, of members each year that have to be voted into, like there is in football, a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 7 players. There sometimes can be 5 people elected. There could be 1 person elected. There could be no one elected. And it is like the hardest Hall of Fame to get into, just as the Justice League is about honor and extremely tough to get into. And when they're debating membership, they come up with these wise cracks. Like Athena says that there should definitely be more women in that, and you hear Hawkgirl and Black Canary say "Here, here," and it's like you can hear Betty Friedan and Bella Agdek say, "Yes, we're having a generation people who understand women." For all those who don't know who those women are, please look them up on Wikipedia. That's Agzug, Agzug, unless my dyslexia misspelled it. Um, the other part of the story is it's Thanksgiving. Miss Martian and Zatanna are preparing for Thanksgiving, and first Wally has to leave because he's spending his time for spending his Thanksgiving dinner with his family. And Miss Martian is just preparing, and Zatanna, a combination of the onions and the fact that this is her first Thanksgiving without her father, acknowledges it as the first Thanksgiving without her father and is just, torn up about it. Which Superboy says, at least she had a father. At which point, just like in the 1978 movie Superman, Superboy gets a high pitched frequency with Lex Luthor on the other end of the voice. It says, "Meet me in Washington D.C. at the East Potomac Park," like, which I guess is somewhere near the Great Lawn. I mean, I've been to the Great Lawn and everything, and he decides to go. Meanwhile, they're still debating who should be elected into the um, Justice League. Guy Gardner's name's up, and both Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan say, "No! No! 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 Absolutely not! No! 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 No!" Okay, maybe I did too many no's on that. Uh, by the way, I'm wearing the villain shirt of uh, Two-Face here, and they keep on debating Ion, Rocket, and they say, "No, no, she's too young. They're all too young. Superboy is too young. Robin is too young." They bring up the fact that Roy is a teen, and Aquaman is like, he never wanted to be part of the Young Justice Squad. Why should we prepare him for this? Why should we reward him for this? And it's a very good point that he makes, which brings them eventually to the fact that Captain Marvel, as Wonder Woman points out, lied by omission by omitting the fact that he's really 10-year-old Billy Batson. And Batman says and Wonder Woman says no one knew that you were 10-year-old, and Batman says I knew he was 10. Oh, and that shouldn't surprise me. You've been training a 9-year-old to become exactly like you. No. So he wouldn't become like me. But getting back to Superboy. Superboy is told by Lex Luthor that that there is another xenomorph clone just like him there. And Superboy is not wanting to hear this. He is shocked to hear this. And he goes directly to Cadmus, where he goes to Guardian, who eventually who unmasks and eventually tells him that he's Red Arrow's uncle. So no wonder the two look alike, which is really weird because I don't look anything like my uncles. No, I still have all my hair and everything, but he doesn't want to hear it. And meanwhile, the xenomorphs have moved up in society, per se. They are now no longer simply bred for weaponry. They are manual labor. They are the workers. And Double X points this out. Have we really moved up in society like I had hoped we one day will? Or have we just moved from being serfs to servants? Maybe compensated servants, but still, servants. Not necessarily slaves, but servants. Anyway, Superboy finds his match. Now, apparently, this is out of the Young Justice books, which I have never read. But the xenomorph, which will come to known as Match, automatically goes and starts to fight him. And eventually, I would think that they would have called him Bizarro Boy, because he basically puts a tattoo on his chest of not only the Superman shield, but in trying to make the regular S, he looks in the mirror and it's a backward S. So I'm thinking Bizarro Boy would be the best name for him. Anyway, the two fight to a standstill or something. And the only reason they did is because the other people came in and helped. And Superboy realizes that this Kryptonian Match can fly, has heat vision, and everything that Superman has. At which point, like Luthor tells him, the difference is that he was made of pure Kryptonian DNA, and Superboy was half human DNA. Double X eventually tells him that, in fact, Match was created before Superboy and was just too wild to, to be controlled, which is why he was never liberated. Why, yeah, but Double X does take him down to called Genomorph City, which he wants to be, uh, you know, uh, which is where the Genomorphs now live before until one day they can live among, normal human society. He's settling for this until that day, and wants that day soon, but lives in the real world, or at least the real world of Young Justice. Oh, and I forgot about this. Lex Luthor has offered Superboy these patches, which because of what they do, I'm not sure if they're supposed to represent drugs or if they're not supposed to represent illegal drugs, like steroids, because instead of merely enhancing Superboy, they just secrete his human side and bring out his full Kryptonian side, which is why I'm saying I don't believe, which means I'm not sure if they are um, supposed to be, uh, you know, uh, definitely for steroids. However, the Genomorph City is found out because of the battle that Match has with Superboy, because he tries to liberate him because even Double X says he's too wild. The Genomorphs on his head are there to calm him down. He's too wild to be let out in society, running around like a madman. Um, and it ends after Superboy has left Cadmus, discovering that Lex Luthor was one of the founders, if not the founder of Cadmus, angry with Dr. Spence, who he still doesn't trust, and meeting with Lex Luthor again to discuss, to tell him that he knows that he created him, and Lex Luthor has a surprise for him. Where do you think your human DNA came from, young man? Which sets up perfect mythology, or expands the perfect mythology of Superman and Lex Luthor, because for Superboy, because in mythology there is something known as the good father and the bad father, or at least the good father figure and the bad father figure. Lex Luthor obviously is the bad father figure. Superman is the good father figure, even though he's not yet given Superboy the time of day. But he will. I've seen the Brazilian things yet. I'm not going to talk about them now, but they're there. And Lex Luthor explains why Superboy is more like Lex than you think, as we live in a world of grays and Superman only sees black and white. What do you think of this episode? Please write or webcam me. Thank you for your time.